You're at Facade, going to make your Power Slap debut on April 17th. How excited are you? I know it started back May 2025. You joined the camp, had to take a little bit of time to wait, but now you're here taking on Bryan Scambler. How excited are you?
I'm excited. It's a very exciting opportunity. Last May, going to the combine with a lot of the wrestlers there and finding out more about power slap and slap fighting and things like that, and learning some of the techniques and the rules and everything got me really excited. So I was kind of in between um, weight classes, I guess you could say. So I cut down a lot of weight to make the weight class throughout these last couple months here, and I've been kind of in a holding pattern. So I'm really excited to come through on the 17th.
For sure. I mean, obviously, you're an accomplished wrestler. From what I've seen, you kind of have that Japanese style wrestling kind of background to you. It's also been said that 2026 is going to be your last year wrestling. Is this kind of a way forward for you to kind of help cope with the retirement of what you've known for so long?
I think it's a very, sometimes when one door closes, another opens. So, this could be a very, a big potential thing that opens a lot of doors for me within Power Slap, within, maybe other avenues, or maybe, it might even change my mind with wrestling. But, that's the kind of thing that, I was looking for whenever I decided that I was going to leave wrestling, is that I feel like I'm still healthy and I have a lot to offer, you know, to different avenues. And so this is definitely the first one.
For sure. Do you think you're going to be able to transition, your character from wrestling over to Power Slap?
Um, at first I was kind of wondering that myself. Whenever we were there at the combine, I wasn't really feeling like, the Neon Ninja or Facade, whatever and like I was like, taking it all in very seriously. And a lot of times too, um, I'm just a happy-go-lucky guy when it comes to things. But for some reason, when I was there, I felt very serious. So we did some backstage interviews and things like that, and I was like, I don't feel like I was me, whether me the real person or in the Neon Ninja Facade. So I think in this time since then, I figured a little bit out of how that can translate and everything, especially seeing other wrestlers perform at Power Slap and fight, and like Stunt Marshall, Haley J, some of them, that are very charismatic in their entrances and within their fights too. So I think I found a way to kind of incorporate some of that too.
For sure. I mean, we've seen people do it both ways. As you talked about, Stunt Marshall, Hollywood, Haley J took that persona and brought it to Power Slap. And then we've also seen, other athletes, take Mecha Wolf, for example. He doesn't want to be known as Mecha Wolf in slap fighting. And so it's kind of interesting to see. And I think it goes along with the psychology of what you're kind of talking about of, are you that same person in slap fighting as you are in wrestling, or does that persona live, I guess, live and die, or live exclusively in the wrestling world? So I think time will tell, and I think obviously you'll probably get a good feel for how you want that to evolve and play out.
Yeah, like I think I have like an idea, but like I think come fight day is really gonna let me know like my
Mhm.
how my nerves are gonna translate, because it's so wrestling. There's a certain there's a lot of me particularly acrobatic things that I get nervous about, but I'm never nervous about being hit. And a lot of the matches that like you said, the Japanese style, like it's a lot of hard hitting stuff. So in that aspect, yeah, it's always been the weird thing to be nervous about messing something like that up than being hit. So I think uh I think that'll have a part to deal with it too.
For sure. I mean, you're not a spring chicken, but
Yeah,
isn't that the beauty of this sport? Is that
yeah.
regardless of age, you still have an opportunity to compete.
Yeah, it is a nice thing because like I said, it's all about how you take care of your body and how physically fit you are. That we have the things nowadays, the recovery, the things, if you live your life a certain way, that you can last. And if you, especially when it comes to wrestling too, you can still be a daredevil and still, break your body down in the ring as long as you're taking care of it after the fact. That's a big thing that really is what the longevity is about, and which still allows me to knock on wood. To this day, I haven't had really any surgeries outside of LASIK, and I've been able to continue wrestling for almost 20 years.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal for sure. Bryan Scrambler, what do you know of him?
I'm not too familiar. I noticed a few people have I've asked about him, and there's a lot of people that have put a lot of respect on his name. Uh, Coach Gambler, as a lot of people have referred to him as. I don't know him personally, but he, I love when people have good things to say about somebody,
Mhm.
and it just makes it that much better of a fight. When two warriors going in there for good reasons, and not maybe I don't know, maybe he's a malicious guy, maybe he's a bad guy, maybe he's a pissed off guy and he's looking to hurt me. But from what I hear, he's a good dude, and I love a good fight. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. I don't really have a tremendous amount of faith in myself when it comes to a lot of things, really. But I do try, and I try hard, and I try to prepare as much as I can. And so, with that, that's how I'm looking at it.
For sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll give you kind of a bit of a background. So, Arizona State, wrestling coach, a guy who wrestled himself, 5'6", natural 155 kind of guy. So, what do you walk around? 5'11", 6 feet ish.
Yeah, yeah, 5'11", 5'10".
Okay. So you're gonna have a 4 or 5 inch height advantage on him, in terms of that. So we'll see how the metrics come out. I mean, there's obviously you guys haven't, gone through um, the whole fight week process to see exactly how you guys stack up against each other and how you're going to look standing side by side. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of transpires. And if you listen to what I said, 5'6". So if you got one of those bobs, you should try to measure the head and place it so you know where the where the placement is on it
Yeah,
before fight week. But
that's a good point, really, because and not to cut you off, but one of the coaches, the champion, he's the uh,
Cuervo
who's
or
that?
Robert Trujillo
Yeah,
or
Robert. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. So Robert, he had a very unique style too, and he was showing us like how he did it because he's a shorter guy too, and it was very unique in how it was unique or not unique, but very tricky to get tricky to get a clean tricky to get a clean shot on him. So
Yeah, for sure. In terms of preparation, what have you been doing? How's your camp been looking?
um, okay, if you want to ask me again, sorry.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I was just saying, what's your preparation looking like, and how you feeling going into this match?
So my preparation, to be honest, taking this fight like as late as I did, has been not the same that it had been whenever I had first uh, been asked to do the combine and everything. Um, with that being said, I had earlier this year had an event in Albuquerque, and I was able to train with Johnny Magma and
Like Chelsea Dodson, John
Johnny
Dodson.
Magna, and yes, yeah, and Chelsea, and her husband down there, and I learned some things about my technique. I learned some good training techniques and some things that I can use to work out and to properly, get myself in a physical shape that's not the typical dynamic movements or typical ways that you work out that could really help me with my slap.
Oh, man. Weight wise, where are you sitting right now?
Um, Looking like 172.
Okay, so you're close.
Yeah. I had a bit of trouble putting on the weight that I had lost uh, throughout the earlier part of, or the later part of last year. And so thankfully that kind of came around, and I more or less am back into a nice period of gaining weight. And so whenever this all happened, I made sure that I kind of cut my intake a little bit, and to make sure that my training wasn't as much weight training and heavier lifts than the things I was doing prior. So it was a quick adjustment, but you know, um, I feel like because I don't have so much weight to lose, it's not really so much of a bigger deal. I'm not really familiar with cutting weight and things like that. Like as you said, Bryan is a wrestling coach, right? So he knows how he can kind of maybe game the system in a sense, as where I'm gonna have to figure out my body and be dialed in and kind of stay dialed in. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. Well, what if Brian's watching this interview? What do you want to say to him?
So I'm not afraid to get knocked out, Bryan. So I want to let you know that. But I'm not afraid to smack down on somebody also. So that's really all there is to it. Take it for what it is. Smack down the pun. And I guess that's a short pun too. Yeah, I'm not really
Uh,
the funny
let,
thing is
let,
I'm not really so much of a shit talker. But
what if,
you know what
what
I
if
mean?
I,
Like
yeah,
even in wrestling, I'm not really so and like I don't know the guy, so it's like I don't really like to hate on somebody, We're just like a couple of warriors going out there to, settle it's a prize fight. But
for sure.
however, if he had something to say to me, then it's on, you son of a, you know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, let's try to get it a different way. If
Right.
someone's never seen you wrestle before, why should they tune in to your first ever power slap match?
Well, if you've never seen me wrestle before, you've never seen me take a shot to the head with a chair. You've never seen me jump off a ladder. You've never seen me go through a table. You've never seen me get dropped on my head, and you've never seen me entertain a crowd. All of these things that I've learned through wrestling are something that have kind of made me a little more hard headed than most. And I think that's really something that's going to help whenever I go into Power Slap, because hopefully it'll be entertaining, but I know I can take a few shots.
Awesome, man. One last one for me. You excited that the office has no input in the outcome of this match?
I love that the most. I mean, I've been fighting my whole life here, trying to earn a spot, Daddy. And, right here, WrestleMania weekend, Power Slap 17. Power Slap 17? Yeah.
19. Who's counting?
Power Slap 19 on April 17th, right
Correct.
before WrestleMania. I can literally earn my own shot, where, things don't always get earned in professional wrestling. You sometimes just are in the right place at the right time, but with this, you got to make your own moves, and it's kind of put up or shut up for me. Like you said, I'm no spring chicken, and this is not something that you can do and continue to lose at. So I don't intend to lose, and I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that happens.
Awesome, Facade. I appreciate you joining me. Look forward to seeing you make your debut in Power Slap.
Thank you. I appreciate it.